Did you know that stories are 22 times more memorable than facts alone? That's not a typo, 22 times. This is because the human brain is wired to remember stories far more easily than raw data. In fact, research shows that stories activate multiple areas of the brain, making them easier to understand and more likely to stick with us. But here's the catch: most people don't know how to tell a story that sticks. They think it's about fancy words or complex plots. But it's not. It's about strategy. If you want to master storytelling, you don't need to be born with a gift. You just need the right techniques. In the next 9 minutes, you'll learn how to transform your storytelling skills by 176%. Yes, 176%. Whether you want to captivate an audience, entertain your friends, or just tell better stories in daily life, this guide will give you the tools you need. You'll discover how curiosity can fuel your story, why emotions matter more than facts, and how to find drama in the most ordinary moments. Stick around, and by the end of this video, you'll be telling stories that people will remember long after you've left the room. Ready to change your storytelling game forever? Let's dive in. Chapter 1: The Secret Ingredient. Curiosity. Have you ever wondered why some stories stick with you forever? One secret to unforgettable storytelling is curiosity. Curiosity isn't just about asking questions, it's about diving deeper into what's not immediately visible. When you begin to ask yourself, what's more to this story? You unlock hidden gems. It's about peeling back layers of the narrative that others might ignore. If you don't ask the right questions, you might miss out on details that can make your story truly stand out. Great storytellers don't just talk, they explore. They ask questions about why a character is behaving a certain way, what motivates them, and what they're trying to avoid. Take Sherlock Holmes, for example. His success isn't just based on solving mysteries, it's because he asks the questions others don't. Curiosity sparks discovery. Research has shown that curiosity can actually make us smarter. In a study by the University of California, people who were curious about a topic had higher brain activity and were able to retain more information. So, ask questions, dig deeper, and let curiosity guide your narrative. This small shift can turn a dull story into something people can't stop thinking about. In storytelling, curiosity also fuels surprise. When we're surprised, we're engaged. For example, unexpected twists, like when a villain turns out to be a long-lost friend, catch our attention because they answer a question we didn't know we had. Curiosity is a force that drives us to care more deeply about the outcome. When you create suspense by answering those unknowns, you keep your audience hooked. Chapter 2: Emotions over Facts. The real magic. Let's face it, people don't remember facts. They remember feelings. The real magic in storytelling comes when you connect emotionally with your audience. Think about the most powerful movies or books you've seen or read. What stands out? It's the emotions, not the facts. A good story makes us laugh, cry, or feel deeply. Those feelings are what stay with us. The most successful storytellers know that emotions are the glue that holds their stories together. Take Pixar movies, for example. Studies show that nearly 80% of their box office revenue comes from emotional engagement rather than plot. They focus on universal feelings, like longing, joy, or loss, because emotions transcend cultures and languages. These are the stories we return to, time and time again. One great way to enhance emotional depth is through storytelling techniques like showing, not telling. Instead of saying, "He was sad," describe how the character's shoulders slumped, how their voice wavered, or how they couldn't make eye contact. These tiny details spark emotions that resonate far more than plain facts. If you're wondering how to tap into emotions effectively, consider using metaphors. Metaphors make complex feelings tangible. For instance, a broken heart is like a shattered mirror, speaks to the audience because it creates a vivid image in the mind. Metaphors help simplify and amplify emotions, making them more accessible. It's important to remember that emotions don't just deepen the story, they make it relatable. When people connect emotionally with a character, they feel as if their own emotions are part of the journey. The best stories invite audiences to see themselves in the narrative, which makes the impact much stronger. This is why storytelling is such a powerful tool for change. It taps into the heart. If you're enjoying these tips and want more, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you never miss out on game-changing storytelling advice. Chapter 3, The Drama of the Ordinary. We often think great stories need grand adventures or exciting action scenes, but the truth is, the most powerful stories often come from the ordinary. Think about your daily life. Most of the time, we're going through routines that feel unremarkable. But within those small moments is untapped drama. It's the stuff that makes us human. Take a simple moment, like a father tying his daughter's shoes. On the surface, it may seem trivial. But through the eyes of a storyteller, that small moment can hold deep meaning. Perhaps the father is thinking about the time he taught his son to tie shoes, reflecting on how time slips away. Or maybe he's thinking about the future, about the day his daughter will no longer need his help. These small, seemingly insignificant moments hold powerful emotions when you bring them to life. There's an old saying in literature, write what you know. The more personal and ordinary the story, the more real it feels. We've all been in moments that felt ordinary but carried hidden drama. A sudden glance, a whispered conversation, a brief silence, they all tell more than meets the eye. It's also important to notice that drama isn't always about conflict. Tension can come from the lack of resolution. In some cases, the smallest detail, a lost moment or a question left unanswered, can be more gripping than a loud confrontation. One of the greatest examples of elevating the ordinary is the work of Raymond Carver, whose short stories revolve around everyday people and their quiet struggles. His stories are about mundane moments, couples talking over coffee or a person waiting for a train, but the way he weaves tension into these moments shows us that there's drama everywhere, if we look for it. Science backs this up too. Research from the University of California shows that our brains are wired to find significance in ordinary events. When you craft these moments with care, your audience will find depth in them too. The beauty of ordinary moments is that everyone can relate. You don't need exotic locations or intense plot twists to make an impact. By focusing on the real, the raw, and the everyday, you invite your audience to see themselves in the story. And when people see themselves in your narrative, they're more likely to become invested. Make sure to hit that subscribe button if you're finding these tips helpful. You won't want to miss the next chapters that will take your storytelling to the next level. Chapter 4, Mastering the Art of Suspense, the Cliffhanger Mindset. Suspense is the secret ingredient that keeps your audience at the edge of their seat. It's not just about what happens next, it's about how you withhold information. A good storyteller doesn't give away everything up front. Instead, they create tension by introducing mysteries and allowing the audience to fill in the gaps. The longer you keep people guessing, the more invested they become. Take a look at your favorite TV shows or movies. Whether it's Breaking Bad or Stranger Things, the best stories always leave you wondering, what happens next? Suspense hooks you because it plays with your curiosity and desire for resolution. It's not enough to just have a twist, you need to know when to drop it and when to hold back. One great trick to creating suspense is the use of cliffhangers. This technique leaves an unanswered question at the end of a chapter, scene, or story. It's like a puzzle piece that fits, but you don't know what the picture looks like until the next piece is revealed. It works because humans are wired to want closure. We need to know what happens next. A study in the Journal of Communication found that people stay more engaged when they anticipate future events, making cliffhangers a powerful tool for holding attention. Another way to build suspense is by showing what's at stake. A classic technique is to introduce a conflict or problem early on, then delay the resolution. The more we care about the outcome, the longer we'll stay hooked. Imagine a character on a dangerous mission, with their life at risk. The more we understand what they have to lose, the more emotionally invested we become in the story's outcome. What's interesting is that suspense isn't just about what you show, it's also about what you don't show. Think about Hitchcock's technique of less is more. In his classic film Psycho, he never fully shows the violence. Instead, the viewer's imagination fills in the blanks, making the scene even more frightening. Suspense is built on the element of surprise, but surprise is only effective when you've set the stage properly. You can't shock your audience without first building a foundation of expectation. Mastering the balance between revelation and withholding information is what keeps your audience glued to the story. Chapter 5. Characters you can't forget. From archetypes to authenticity, every unforgettable story has memorable characters. But what makes a character stick with you long after the story ends? The answer lies in authenticity. While archetypes like the hero, villain, and mentor have been used for centuries, the most compelling characters aren't just stereotypes. They're real people with depth. Take Harry Potter. Yes, he fits the hero archetype, but his character is far more complex. He's vulnerable, imperfect, and often unsure of himself. That's what makes him relatable. According to The Hero with 1,000 Faces by Joseph Campbell, characters based on archetypes help create familiarity, but when you add flaws, they become more human. Archetypes give your audience something to latch onto, but authenticity makes them care. Building authentic characters begins with understanding what makes people tick. Great storytellers know their characters inside and out. They understand their motivations, fears, and desires. According to psychology studies, people are more likely to connect with characters who display vulnerability. Think about characters who reveal their insecurities, whether it's Luke Skywalker unsure of his destiny or Simba afraid to face his past. These flaws make them real, and we care about their journeys. If you're enjoying these storytelling tips, don't forget to hit subscribe so you can continue learning how to become a master storyteller. Chapter 6. The Finish Line. Leaving your audience changed. How you end your story can be the difference between a forgettable tale and one that sticks with your audience forever. Great endings don't just tie up loose ends, they leave a lasting impression. A powerful conclusion should resonate long after the story ends, making your audience reflect on what they've just experienced. Think about the end of The Shawshank Redemption. It's not just about Andy escaping, it's about the hope he carries with him. That ending doesn't just wrap up the plot, it leaves us with a feeling, a theme, and a deeper understanding of life itself. According to The Anatomy of Story by John Truby, a strong ending transforms the entire story by connecting it to a universal truth. It's the moment when everything clicks. The key to a memorable ending is resolution, both of the plot and of the character's emotional journey. As the hero's journey framework shows, a character's transformation should be reflected in the ending. By the time your audience reaches the last page or scene, they should feel that the character has undergone a change. This isn't just about solving the problem, it's about what that solution means for the character and the audience. Another trick to a powerful ending is to leave room for interpretation. Not every story needs a neat bow to tie things up. Some of the most iconic endings, like the one in Inception, leave us wondering what really happened. Ambiguity can be a powerful tool when used correctly. It invites your audience to think and discuss, which makes the story linger in their minds. In fact, studies show that people are more likely to remember an ending that sparks discussion. A study from the Journal of Experimental Psychology found that people were more engaged with stories that ended on a thought-provoking note because they continued to think about the plot long after. So, don't be afraid to leave a little mystery at the end. Lastly, remember that a good ending doesn't always have to be happy. Some of the most powerful endings are bittersweet or tragic, like in The Great Gatsby. The end should fit the tone and message of the story. If the story is about loss, a hopeful ending might feel out of place. A good conclusion will make your audience feel something deep, whether it's joy, sadness, or even confusion. Great stories leave a mark. Your ending should ensure that your audience walks away thinking about what they've just experienced and, more importantly, how it made them feel. And in the end, that's what storytelling is all about, leaving people changed.